Okay, hello. Here we go. This is going to be, can Matt do the splits? And the answer already is no. But this is to replace the session that I can't do this Sunday because we're all struggling to get everything that we want in, and me most of all, and balancing a family and wanting to do other stuff than this at the weekend. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. This is for you. I give it to you in the hope that you rediscover a love for the Kinstretch stuff. Also gives me an opportunity to teach without the pressure of worrying about what you guys are doing, so I can just waffle on. So we will start as we normally start, which is to do the cars. All right, I'm going to do from a different couple of positions. You can join in those positions, no problem, or you could just do it the way that you normally do it. Okay, just the idea is to be comfortable, to be aware of compensatory movement, and to try and get as much out of each particular joint as you possibly can. Without further ado, I'm going to start on all fours. Why not? Okay, I've got a neutral spine. I'm pushing into the floor. I'm going to go double chin, and then I'm going to undouble my chin and extend. Look through my eyebrows. I'm going to double chin again. Trace my chin across my collarbone, and then looking up to the ceiling across. And you might feel like this is just too much load, in which case, change position. You may feel that this gives you a nice bit of feedback so that you don't move through here like a bucket bronco. That's one circle. Two. Eyebrows to the left, ear over shoulder, trace the collarbone, and back to the left. I haven't got anything else for you really in terms of the thoracic stuff, so it's a forward fold. If you're standing, that's absolutely fine. Take a breath, breathe out, allow that ribcage to sink down. We'll be coming to some of that stuff in a bit. Rotate to the right, fully rotate, then right shoulder, right pocket. Feel that stretch in the left hand side of the left hand flank and the left hand ribcage. Sternum up towards the ceiling, up and then across. Left shoulder, left pocket. Forward fold. Forward fold, rotate to the left. Left shoulder, left pocket. Sternum up towards the ceiling. Exhale. Across. Still extended. Right shoulder, right pocket. Forward fold. I mean, already this feels weird that nobody's on the end of this. What if nobody watches it? Unbelievable. Hands down by your side. You've got a seam on your trousers. You can use that. Protract forward. Shoulder blades, not from the hips. Elevate up towards your ears. Come back. We bang on about this all the time. Maintain current range. Improve control of said range or workspace, and then use it as an assessment. Okay? Are cars the be all and end all? No, but they're a good entry level. All right, nobody's saying that this is going to get you stacked. All right, but those three reasons are reason enough to justify a systematic approach of going through your joints. If you feel like you're getting those all covered with other things that you do in your life, fine, don't do them. But there's a lot of you, myself included, that when I make choices to do rugby, cricket, whatever, it's normally sport for me, okay? There might be no opportunities in that sport to express the full workspace, okay? So I just want to maintain that full workspace so that when I find an activity that requires, I don't know, being back here, that I still have access to it. I might not be as conditioned, but I can build that condition in. But you can't move where you can't move. Doing wrists, by the way. Forearm, don't roll. Put your phone on top, okay? Open, little fingers in, open palm, straight fingers. If you are closing your hand and your fingers are closing, that's compensatory. Try not to do that. If you want to do it with bent fingers, same thing, but don't move them once you've made that decision, just the wrist. Elbows, palms facing out. Yeah. Huh? I know.
Yeah, the whole area.
I know. There's no internet. I'm recording. Push. Rotate. Try and get those little fingers. Good indication would be outside the bicep. If you don't have a lot of room, that's fine, but the rotation comes from here, not just the wrist, but actually from the elbow. Okay? Up, across, down, up, rotate, out. Half kneeling position. For me, tucked, ribcage down. I've got my one hand here, keeping that ribcage. I'm going to come across my body, open palm, up and across my face, into flexion. If I'm already leaning, stop. Just what the shoulder can do. Rotate from the shoulder, not just the wrist. Internally rotate, keep rotating as you stretch behind you. Watch where that shoulder blade is, whether it's coming forward and you're collapsing. Stretch behind you, relay race. Keep stretching behind as you rotate. And again, sometimes it's worth doing a shallower circle so you can feel that upper arm bone moving rather than compensatory movement. So up and across the face, past the ear or as high as you can. As you start to rotate, breathe out. Stretch behind, back. Rocket, rotate, up. How's my peace lily looking? It was looking a bit rogue on Monday. I've resurrected it. Lazarus. By I mean, I watered it. Rotate, stretch behind. Same thing, stretch. Maybe one soft. One with a bit more push to the edge. And then one with a little bit more intensity as we are going to be training, okay? Tight fist. Nice. A little bit of cat-cow, okay? Starting at the coccyx. I want to go into flexion first. So I think about curling my tailbone underneath me, one vertebrae at a time. As I'm doing that, I can think about pulling my hands and knees together. That will help. One vertebrae. Good spine would have independent movement at each vertebrae, not in sort of blocks of 4 or 5 vertebrae at a time. You'd need more than just a few cars to undo that, but filming yourself as you unload now, stick the tailbone in the air, try not to rock back, push your hands and knees away from each other. Filming yourself and having a good look at whether you look like you're moving one vertebra at a time or whether you're moving just from one piece. Tuck that tailbone underneath you again, pull hands and knees together. Keep looking up through the eyebrows. Nice. Okay, I like lying on your side for these hips. I think it's good. Okay, so 90 degrees out from the body, 90 degrees here. Push that leg down into the floor. A little bit of tuck with the pelvis. Unload the spine a touch. In towards the chest. Hold. Open up. Push this leg down. Open up towards the ceiling. Make sure that you haven't Stuck your bum out, okay? Stay tucked, rotate internally. Use that stuff in the jeans pocket as we then kick back, but we're still internally rotating. Lower down. In, up. Down. We say donkey kick on the way back. Lift. Down. Donkey kick. Lift. Up. Down. Both sides. God, I've got to remember that I've got to keep talking, haven't I? It'd be hilarious if nobody watched this. In, open. Do people like free stuff? Could go the other way and charge £400 for it. In, shorten, close. Donkey kick back. Up and over. Last one. Maybe suggest have some tunes on in the background. Why not? I thought about it myself, but then I thought it might interfere with your tunes. Here, looking down the shin, okay? Looking down, we're looking for this. You can see how my hamstrings are doing that work. You can see that change in shadow here. Looking down the shin, external rotation, contract, pull the kite strings. As we work back towards the middle, that it comes from the knee, not just the foot, okay? Maybe think about digging your heel in, think about pulling with these hamstrings. External, internal. Same leg underneath ankle. Evert first, so that's rotation of the ankle. Plantar flexion through the point. Rotate the foot, pull up, back. Tell you what I notice when I watch these back, how much I do this all the time, which means I'm not doing the correct breathing. That's probably a bit annoying, isn't it? You can see the big bulbous bone I've got on my knee here. External rotation, use the outside hamstrings. Dig the heel down if you want to. Could just as well do this open chain and then internal. External, internal. Lifting up. Rotation of the ankle to the outside. Through plantar flexion, through, all the way up. In, round. Good. I often do this one because I'm already sat on the floor. You could stand, point your toes into plantar flexion, pull your knees in. As soon as you get contact with the floor of the tripod, ball of the foot, underneath the little pad, the toe pad and the heel, that's your point to stop. If you come to, it's too easy. All right? Here, hard. Keep this feet going forward and all toes up. All toes down. Big toes down, little toes up. Down, little toes down, big toes up. Down, all toes up. Spread. And down. All right. Okay, so I said we're going to do Splits training again, all right? But first of all, I want to just do a couple of things for breathing. So more breathing into the mic. Lying on your back. Okay, often I'll say rib cage down. We've done these drills before. Maybe it's helpful if I pull this up. So here you can see my lower back is off the floor, hopefully. When I breathe in now, what I want you to do is try and think about that lower back staying in contact with the floor. So that's all I want to do. 5 breaths now in this position. Now if you're finding that difficult, you could put something underneath you. I've got a pole here. It's a bit big for me. But if you've got a big arch, okay, as I breathe in, you want to feel increased pressure into whatever it is that's underneath you. Okay? Hopefully you've kept breathing. So let's call that 4. 5. Now, what hopefully that means is that we're not breathing up here and we're leaving that lower back on the floor, and we're getting sort of expansion outwards in this direction and down into the floor, not just always chest lifting up. You may feel increased pressure in your abdomen. That's a good thing. Okay, we breathe in again 5 more times. Breathe in. Expansion into the floor outwards. This time when you breathe out, I want you to breathe out past where you would normally breathe out. And notice how your rib cage goes down towards the floor and down towards your hips. Keep it in that position and breathe again into the floor. Breathe the rib cage down. Keep it down. Breathe in. Some of you will be finding that very difficult. Hands on your rib cage facing in. Imagine as you breathe out that your fingers are being pulled together, meshing together. Last one, breathe in. If you have time and you were like, oh, it's hurt my neck a little bit, and then like this, should have said put something underneath your head and then just do 5 more breaths. That can be hard work, particularly if you're already in this position. You might not have felt like you were going to the floor. That's why you need a constraint or a cue. All right. But still, that would be almost like a training breath. I'm asking you to take a big breath in and then fully exhale. And in order to create that movement of the ribcage, you need muscle control. And if you are not used to doing that, those muscles are not trained in those positions. So just like anything else, practice will make perfect. One thing that you could do is when you are sat in a more familiar position here, is just become more aware of the exhales that you're doing. So if I'm here, I'm breathing in. Hopefully you can see my back is expanding a little bit, but as I breathe out, I would normally just shorten that exhale. But there's still a lot more air to get out, so just go past that. It doesn't mean you have to... oh dear. But we're often taking... we breathe a lot up here. There's my normal stop, and just to breathe past that. And then breathe out again. You will find that there is a natural stop that you normally do. To breathe past that. And to stop shy of that. But you will notice a significant drop in your ribcage. So just bring more awareness in your everyday life to that. All right? Easy to say, not easy to do. How do you find the time? I don't know, when you sit enjoying a cup of tea. Slurp. Big, nice, relaxing breath. Allow that ribcage to sink down towards the floor. Okay, that's what I mean by rib cage down. When we're doing it here, and I say breathe in, rib cage down, we're doing it a little bit more actively. Okay, but that's the position so that you're not flared out here. All right, so that's a little bit on breathing. We're going to use that breath now when we do this capsular car. Okay, so hip up, first of all, warming the hips up. All right, so we normally I call this the saloon door, but the setup is staked through the floor 90 degrees perpendicular. Okay, like so. We're then swiveling inside. Internal rotation, external rotation, but without the hip moving from side to side or coming up or down. So it's like it's just swiveling here. Softly through the middle, fine. As you get to the extremities of either internal or external rotation, I want you to practice that breath. You may need this underneath your head now. Hands on rib cage, breathe in. Start to breathe out, rib cage down, and then the full exhale as you get to your end range. If you get that rib cage down knitted together, you'll find a way to eke out a little bit more room without doing any of this hitching, okay? And you'll feel more connected with this because you're creating more stability with the rib cage, abs, and pelvis. Breathe in softly through the middle. Breathe out, rib cage down. Keep winding it up. That's one. Breathe in. Softly through the middle, work towards your end range. Two, make sure you get to a maximum safe effort. Breathe in through the middle, internally rotate, rib cage down. If you're not quite at the stage yet where you can combine a previously new exercise, breathing, with this and it's frustrating you, just focus on the internal, external, and eventually by doing them both separately, you'll be able to combine them. I'll keep going for those people who are okay with it. And 5. Internal rotation using that outside jeans pocket. Back softly, breathe in. Internal, external rotation. Good. Holy moly. Up. Breathe in. Breathe out. Working towards internal rotation. 2. Softly breathe in. Four. Crank it up, focus on the breathing. Forgot I was teaching then, didn't I? I was in the breath, guys. Whoa, gotta concentrate on this side. Excellent. Right. That is warmed up. Rotation always before linear. So what do you need for a front squat? Front splits. You can think we're sort of in this shape. Okay, we've got a little bit of hamstring stuff to get through. Hip extension as well. Not everybody's going to be able to be in that position, but I implore you to find positions that work for you. I can't cover all of them, but if you know for sure that you need something else, then by all means go for it. Okay, I'm going to do mine from the half kneeling position. If you want, you can create or have things to help you balance. Okay, I'm talking about chairs, Swiss balls, etc. Okay, have some padding for your knee for sure. Okay. So we're going to focus on hamstring. Okay, so I'm in this half kneeling position first. Okay, my leg is out, soft bend in the knee. Okay, it doesn't need to be completely straight. I'm going to try and keep my torso upright, although I will be bringing myself forward eventually. Okay, but this is not a hip extension exercise. We want to try and find this hamstring. How do we do that? Well, we're going to tilt our tailbone out and up like a ducktail. Okay, we're going to then bring our chest forward. Okay, and then we're going to think about sending our hips backwards. All right, that's going to load that hamstring. Very similar to what we do in the 90-90 for hip external rotation. Tilt, chest, shunt. Okay, tilt, chest, shunt, obviously. Okay, my bouncy ball here is giving me ballast to make sure that I can create good amounts of force there. If you've been there for a while, good. Everybody else, 5 breaths. Find some stuff in the belly of that hamstring. Okay. Good body control should mean that you can find a stretch up here. You shouldn't have to just collapse. Talk about pails and rails here. 20 seconds in each direction. Pails is to load the stretched tissue underneath. So we're going to drive the heel down into the floor. Okay, we were going to build that up through percentages of effort. If you've done this before, you can go high. If this is your first time, just go to 60% effort. If it's your first time, you've got no idea what 60% of your effort is. Imagine if it was 100, you'd only be able to do it for like 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, so 3 seconds is 100 times by 60. What's that? Do the maths. About 20-ish. All right, something that you could hold, but after 20 seconds is quite hard. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Keep the stuff on stretch and drive that heel down into the floor. As you ramp up or dial up the intensity, okay, think about shortening your breath, bringing tension into the rest of the body. 5 seconds, 4, 3. Your rails contraction is to try and lift your leg up off the floor. How do you do that? Well, you try and contract your quad, pull into the hip, tilt a little bit more. Imagine you had a Swiss or a balloon here that you're trying to pop against your leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Go through the next checks. Tilt, chest, shunt. And you should be able to get into a little bit more hamstring. Notice I haven't lengthened at this knee. Any movement is from my torso forwards in order to find a bigger stretch in my hamstring. Hang out there for a couple of seconds. This might be a better place for you to balance chair, not so good for filming. In that knee position, second round of pails and rails. Take a breath. Start to drive down, dial it up. 10%, 20, 30, 40. Hold at 60. Big tension in that hamstring. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and pull yourself deeper into that shape. Contract through the quad if you can. Pull. Try and lift your heel up off the floor. All up here should be on fire. 2, 1. Dial down. Go through those checks again. Get back to a rest and digest breath. Breathe past that rib cage. Tilt, chest, shunt. More stretch. Happy days. Okay, that takes care of one side. Right, I better stay here. Okay, asymmetry in your body means that you'll probably feel that this is a slightly different position. Remember, it is not, okay, a hip extension. We're going to get there in a second. We're trying to find this hamstring. I did say, and then forgot, didn't I, that I would offer you other options. If you can't do the half kneeling, find something that you can put your leg up onto. This is my windowsill. Okay, that'll do. A chair will do. All right, I got something here that I can lean into. You might find that a better option. So my apologies. Got to get better at that. Got to get better at it. It's hard to think of everything, isn't it? Oh, God. Be easier if everybody was in a class. For those who haven't been in a while, I taught my mum live and that went out. I'm not sure. I didn't have any feedback saying it was shite, but mum had a good session anyway. Here we go. Find that hamstring, tilt, belly button, shunt. For me, it's the shunt that always brings it on. We want it away from the back of the knee and into the hamstring. Okay. I noticed that I was going too far forward then into my hip. So I'm going to try, find that hamstring. Now there. Hopefully everybody else has been there and been chilling out and trying to breathe some length. Take a breath in and push down. Load the stuff that is on stretch. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and lift that leg up. Squeeze that hip flexor. Pull into the hips. Tilt that tailbone up in the air a bit more. $60. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Go through your tilt, chest, shunt those hips back, find a little bit more passive stuff. Try to get your breathing back to rest and digest. Take a breath. Drive that heel down into the floor. Build it up through your percentages. If you want to go higher than 60, that's fine. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Try and lift. Oh my God. It's hard. Go slow and then build it. Try to connect with this stuff on the top, closing it, trying to lift it up. 3, 2, 1. Dial down. Tilt. Belly button forward. Shunt back. A little bit more stretch. Oh my God. Okay. Okay. What else do you have in the splits? Well, we've got hip extension. Okay.